Okay, welcome to our third little video in this series. Basically, this is what I've been busy with for the last couple of weeks. Took a break from pushing floors, ceilings, and structural supports around the ship, and decided to start doing some prop modeling. Can't say enough about research. For every hour worth of modeling I've got involved specifically in this conference table here, there's about 3 to 4 hours worth of research involved, and I still don't have all of the reference material that I would optimally like to have in order to get this stuff done. There's a certain amount of this that you just have to beat out of the books because it didn't directly said in the books necessarily how big this is or where exactly this goes on the tabletop surface and da 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 da. A lot of eyeballing from screen caps from the original TV series, a lot of eyeballing from images in books, and you name it. You'll go bald trying to do this. I am not kidding. But the hard work pays off, and some of the renders posted over at 3D Buzz in the last few days of that conference table really just thrilled the daylights out of me. I mean, a couple of them, as I've said over there, just look like you could walk right in and sit down. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. Of course, keeping in mind, if you're doing this right, you're going to be lighting with blue omnis. Just something to keep in the back of your head if you're doing some original series modeling. The tables back here in the background, I've got 3 different sizes. There's actually 4, so I've got another table that I need to model at some point. No big deal. It's a couple of minutes, but just pretty much I think I can derive, probably even scale one of these and get number 4 pretty easily, but we'll see. The little doohickey back here on this back table was just a reference, more or less a test piece to see how the opaque versus transparent, semi-transparent played off against each other. Definitely see here, if you don't throw in some kind of line segments, chamfered line segments to show where your Z cutoffs are or your Z intersects are for different planes, it's just globs hanging out there in space, and it might be interesting to look at and call modern art, but you know, things like that, since I hadn't modeled transparent against transparent before, I wasn't quite sure how it was going to look, what to watch out for, so that was a little test that I did, and then carried on the lesson over into building the 3D chess set here, and you can see that I learned the lesson well. Chamfer the edges, define the edges as much as possible so that you don't have those little transparent blobs hanging in there looking like modern art vomit. Okay, this is sub D, by the way, and also there's no real texturing going on here. This is all just basic materials within Max at the moment. Haven't really gotten into doing a lot of texturing with this stuff, just basically defining the models, saving them out in reference or in their own scene files, and eventually I'll come back and revisit them and start piling on textures, getting all the artwork done. These are direct lifts to both the chess board and the chess pieces out of the Franz Joseph Technical Manual real happy with them. They hold up as close in as you want to get to them. So really happy with the way they turned out. The chairs here, I've got a couple different variations on them, all Canon. The seat backs and seat cushions themselves, there's another variation of those that I have to do yet, but we'll get there. Wall plant-ons, these are the little decorative items that you see hanging on the walls through the corridors. I've got several more of those to research and build, but those turned out really good for they're sub D. When I built them, I was real happy with the way they looked, and then I cut them in half, and my God, mesh explosion. Tune in at 11. Really had to do some tweaking after cutting them in half to get them back to looking the way they had, and get me back to being as happy as I had been. The grill here, for those interested, because I've already had a lot of questions about this, and I just posted one picture. 2 inches from flat side to flat side. These are made up. There's actually 2 pieces that repeat, just serpentine back and forth and back and forth, all the way up the height of the piece. This is one piece. And then I mirrored over on this side, and then treated them as 2 separate pieces. I've got one piece that crimps up here, and then the next one has the crimp 1 step down. So you could literally, I guess you could literally take this piece, clone it, move it up, and accomplish the same thing, but by doing it, I made the crimps separately, so it gives a little bit of variation from one to the next, a little bit of a change up, so it doesn't look just like cut and paste and stamp it out, pop, 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 pop. It's going to look that way to some extent anyway, but you want to avoid it as much as possible. It just, anyway, that's that. This is not probably going to be in the game engine. It's too poly bloated, but it was kind of one of those things that I built in an afternoon because I was bored out of my mind. And it looks really good, but I'm going to have to cut it way, 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 way down. The cabinets here are the last thing. This is what I'm working on right now. There's still a lot of detail that I have to put on the front faces here, switches and knobs and whatnot. But otherwise, that's pretty much. Those come from some reference images that I got from Bully and Admiral over at Okudagrams, and really these flew together with those reference images. So again, thank you, BA. They've turned out really nice. Really happy with them, and hopefully when they're finished, I'll be just as happy. That's pretty much it. That's what I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. Doesn't look like much, but again, there's like 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes in research on this stuff for every hour's worth of building, and that's what you will run into if you're doing a build this big, especially trying to duplicate everything that's in a TV series that was on air for 3 years. You get a glimpse of something, and all of a sudden somebody wants to see it. A glimpse is what you got to model off of. So, at any rate, that pretty much does it for this episode. And again, this is the builds hosted over at 3D Bus. So if you want to follow the build, the link is on the YouTube channel there, and my little space there on YouTube. But it's work in progress forums over at 3D Buzz. If you got a an itch and want to do some 3D modeling and need to figure out how to go about it, there's plenty of training materials over at Buzz. They do an excellent job putting together VTMs, and highly recommend the work that they do over there. Aside from that, there's a really good community of modelers over there. Plenty of people that you can talk to, draw inspiration from, inspire yourself. So if you're interested in getting involved, then by all means get involved. Stop by. Cross-posted over on Sci-Fi Meshes, Ocodograms, Trek BBS, and StarTrek.com, and shouts out to all you guys in all those different places, and shouts out to the folks at NeoGAF and ModDB and some of the other places also tracking it independently and otherwise. Till next time, have fun, campers.